And welcome to WCW Worldwide. Scott Hudson and Bobby the Brain Heenan. The week of turmoil in World Championship Wrestling continues. We do not know who is the World Heavyweight Champion. Is it Vince Russo? Is it Booker T? More about that later on. We do know we have new tag team champions from the Natural Born Thrillers. Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Hare. We'll see that later. But Brain, I want your response on this. The unbelievable return of Lex Luger.
Well, you know, that's a big question going around the wrestling circles. Everybody's been asking, where's Luger been? What's he up to? Well, Luger's a very mysterious, he's a very strange individual. I'll tell you where he's been. He's been in the crowd. Isn't that where he came from?
That's where he came from in Uniondale, Nassau Coliseum, helping out Vince Russo, but there is more to that story. We'll see that later on. And we will also see exclusive worldwide matches with the preview. Our broadcast colleagues, Mike Tenay and Tony Schiavone.
Yes, it's another exciting week of WCW Worldwide action. Tony, this week on Worldwide, we are going to see two of the rising factions in World Championship Wrestling clash. The Misfits in action against the Natural Born Thrillers. Chuck Palumbo to take on Lieutenant Loco.
Chuck Palumbo, of course, we know, one half of the World Tag Team Champions at one time, but now going up against the Misfits in action, who really are having problems with Team Canada, as we know.
No question about that. Now, we will go to Mean Gene Okerlund. He's standing by with that 70s guy, Mike Awesome. Gene, take it away.
Thank you, Mike. Today, still to come this week here on WCW Worldwide, you're going to be seeing this man in action, the 70s guy, Mike Awesome. And Mike, I like to talk wrestling, but I got other things I need to talk with you. In an era of Farrah Fawcett, Linda Carter, the Pittsburgh Steelers were winners. And what about the Big Red Machine?
You talking about my Love-Mobile, Gene?
No, I'm talking about the Cincinnati Reds. Tips on picking up chicks. I need that from you for an older guy.
Well, let me tell you, the first thing you got to do with these foxy ladies is never, and I do mean never, take no for an answer. And once you get past that hurdle, you're in the game for sure, Gene.
You know, you've got that little set with all the lava lamps and everything, and you've had the who's who in World Championship Wrestling there. You seem to do pretty well for yourself, Mike Awesome.
Well, actually, I do, you know. Like I said, it's just a matter of never taking no for an answer. And yeah, I like it.
And polyester, you feel still very fashionable today in this day and age?
Well, I tell you what, Gene, if you take a look, I'm wearing polyester from head to toe, and that even includes my underwear.
One final question. Did you ever know the Bee Gees?
Actually, aren't they still around today?
Well, I'm sure they're around somewhere today. Thank you very much, Mike Awesome, the 70s guy. Stay tuned, Mike. Let's get back to you in the arena.
And thanks very much, Gene. In singles competition, Tony, this week on Worldwide, it's that 70s guy, Mike Awesome. And while you might think he's hopelessly lost in the 70s as far as his personality goes, his wrestling style is strictly new millennium.
Yeah, it really is. You think about a guy like that 70s guy, Mike Awesome. You just heard the interview with Mean Gene. They're talking about anything but sports entertainment. They're talking about the 70s music, 70s style, 70s television programs. But when the bell sounds as the old cliche goes, Mike, the man really knows how to perform in the ring.
And we will see Mike Awesome this week on WCW Worldwide exclusively for you. But right now, let's send it back to the studio. Take it, guys.
Week after week, thousands, hundreds of thousands maybe of emails come into World Championship Wrestling via WCW.com. You've got a question for a WCW superstar? Send it to the worldwide link at WCW.com. If we use your question on the air, we will send you a WCW t-shirt. This week, our question comes, still works, it certainly does. Brent McMillan, Winchester, Virginia. His question is for General Rection. Who is the toughest member of the Misfits in action? You or somebody else? That's a good question. He's a tough guy.
That's a great question. Must have stayed up nights thinking of that one.
Ignore that. Brent, here's your answer from the General.
Hey, Brent, good question. The answer to your question, who's the toughest MIA member, would have to be me. Up until a little while ago, I had Major Guns by my side hugging up on me. Now I got Sergeant AWOL. If that doesn't make you tough, nothing will.
What an answer from General Rection about the Misfits in action. Brain, I'll ask you, that's a bunch of tough guys in the Misfits, in the MIAs. Who's the toughest Misfit in your opinion?
I would say Major Guns.
Major Guns.
I'll tell you why.
Please.
Major Guns walks into a bar.
I've heard that.
Corporal Cuckoo walks into a bar. Who do you think's going to get in a fight quickest? Who do you think's going to be having to keep hands off themselves?
That's going to be Major Guns.
Toughest one in the
That's a good theory.
Oh, it is a good theory. It's why I'm the brain.
Major Guns.
Think I just gave myself this name? I had nothing to do on a Saturday?
Let's send it to the arena. Standing by. Whoa, that was close. Mike Tenay and Tony Schiavone. Who are you calling?
Waiting for Luger to call me back. I want to see what's happening with the switchboard here.
And thanks very much, guys. Yes, we're counting down the days to WCW's October pay-per-view tradition. It's Sunday, October the 29th, when World Championship Wrestling returns to the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada for Halloween Havoc. And Tony, I know that's going to be a big, big evening, and it's all going to be sponsored by Electronic Arts.
WCW Backstage Assault is the next video game coming out from Electronic Arts, and the sponsor of Halloween Havoc. Mike, think about how many great things have happened, exciting, unpredictable things that have happened during Halloween Havoc over the years.
This has been tremendous when you think through the years of all the major matches, the title changes, the surprises that have been a part of Halloween Havoc. We're sure it's going to be just the same in the year 2000. And speaking of the year 2000, here's a guy that's a little bit retro. He's that 70s guy. He's the host of the Lava Lamp Lounge. He's just plain awesome. He's Mike Awesome. And what do you think of that ring attire? Not really a full leisure suit, but it's surely from the 70s.
It's all polyester. There's no question about that. And Mike, like we said earlier in this telecast, the type of guy who has a lot of style, a lot of pizzazz, but there's a lot of substance to awesome in the ring as well, Mike.
That is really the key. Once that Lava Lamp Lounge is over and once the bell rings and he gets into battle, as he is this week here on WCW Worldwide against Steve Sharp, he is all business, and he can certainly back himself up in that ring. Anything that he may say outside the ring, he backs it up physically in the ring. And Steve Sharp taking over early on the attack. Look at the agility. Springing up off the rope, catches him with the back elbow, and then follows up nicely. Clubbing blow to the back. Steve Sharp has to go in the neighborhood of about 290 pounds, and he picked him up with ease, slammed him to the mat, goes airborne with the splash. Hook of the leg, and barely got a 2 count that time from referee Silverman.
The fact also that Awesome wears those pants in the ring, those casual slacks, so to speak. It's got to be very constricting on him, and you would think it would inhibit his performance, but he does quite well anyway.
That time able to touch the clothesline from Sharp, doubles him over with a boot to the midsection. Sharp takes him up in a fireman's carry. And the Samoan drop, the fall-away slam, sends Awesome down to the mat. Smart move here by Awesome, rolling out to the arena floor and slowing down the momentum and the offensive pace of Steve Sharp.
Awesome brought the table out. That had the fans up in arms. Oh, they wanted to see the table, obviously, and want to see the table. But Sharp, well, I'm nothing. That's a big guy taking flight right there, Mike.
That's a cruiserweight move from a man that goes near 300 pounds and stands about 6'5", slingshot into a cross-body block. Now he takes Awesome and sends him back into the ring. Obviously, Sharp realizes there's no way that he can win that match out on the floor. Once he's softened him up, he's got to bring him back into the squared circle and put him away.
Fans will realize, and of course we realize, and no one realizes better than Sharp, that for Steve Sharp, one of his biggest matches here on Worldwide, seen in many countries and many stations around the United States. So a win, maybe not a win, but even a great performance is a real bonus for him.
Would definitely move him up the ladder of success in World Championship Wrestling. Right now, in a precarious position. And Mike Awesome drives a series of boots into the midsection of Sharp. And now he decides that he's going to take a timeout and roll out to the floor. We know that Awesome loves to fly. Very unpredictable offense. And there he goes!
They hit that safety rail, both of them that time, Mike. And I think Awesome took the worst of it.
Suicide dive by Awesome. And again, we were just congratulating Sharp on the high-risk aerial moves for a man as big as he is, and Mike Awesome comes back to counter with one of his own. Looks like both men okay, now back up on their feet, and Awesome sends Sharp back first into the safety rail, and drives that steel chair right into the side of Steve Sharp. And now what? Now where's he headed?
I think it's table time.
Mike Awesome with the familiar table, gonna bring it into the ring. And Steve Sharp's wrestling future and his success in WCW is in doubt at this point because Mike Awesome is setting up the table, and Awesome has used that table on many occasions since arriving here in WCW to certainly weaken his opponents. He loves to use that move before catching him with the awesome bomb, but Steve Sharp caught him by surprise.
That was a great move by Sharp to lure him into that false sense of security that time, and then with the uppercut to thwart his efforts. And now maybe Sharp is going to use the table on Mike Awesome. Look at it there.
Can the table backfire on Mike Awesome? Steve Sharp attempted a move and a great reversal that time by Mike Awesome, pointing to the table. Now obviously wants to send Sharp there, and takes him up.
Oh, look at
this incredible power and strength, and there it is, a running Awesome bomb right through the table. The 3 count at this point is academic. We will be back with more right after this on Worldwide. And welcome back, everyone. 2 of the exciting young factions in World Championship Wrestling. You talk about the new blood rising in WCW, certainly to be represented in this matchup. Part of the Natural Born Thrillers, accompanied the ring by that man, Perfection Sean Stasiak. Chuck Palumbo in singles competition this week on Worldwide, and Palumbo has parlayed that power plant background into a major role with the Thrillers.
You know, back on April 10th when Vince Russo started the new blood, we often wondered that a year from then, this coming April, exactly where the new blood will be. Who would be on top? I would think that you're going to find that Natural Born Thrillers and MIA are going to continue to be a strong part of WCW.
They've been given that opportunity to shine here in World Championship Wrestling, and the youngsters have not disappointed in representing the MIA. If it's Misfits in Action or Made in America, whatever you'd like. This is going to be Lieutenant Loco, and he's accompanied by Corporal Cajun. Both of these wrestlers, both Loco and Palumbo, have backup at ringside.
Look at this. Now, you see that...
Yeah, size disparity being pointed out by Palumbo.
Yeah, you know, that is something that Loco has heard throughout his career. He's a former cruiserweight champion. He's said it so many times. A third-generation professional wrestler. Yeah, if he wants to...
This is ridiculous.
He'll kick his teeth in is what Loco will do.
Key for Lieutenant Loco, the hit-and-run offense. Not allow Palumbo to go to the power game. Palumbo has him in the corner. That's the problem for Loco. Has to stay away from the corner. The knee to the midsection and a direct right hand to the side of the head. That one missed. Loco able to turn him around and connect with a series of knife-edge chops.
There's the technique we talked about. Now let's see what he can follow it up with.
Reversal that time by Palumbo. The float over by Loco. Standing drop kick was on target and took the big man down. Now he's got to follow up that advantage once he's down. That time Loco goes airborne and takes Palumbo down, and Palumbo goes out to confer with Perfection Sean Stasiak.
I'll tell you, that drop kick by Loco is one of the best in all of sports entertainment. On par with one that you see from Lance Storm or a Prime Time. Guy really knows how to throw a drop kick. It's very, very high in the air. Can do it from a standing position as well.
Among the many rivalries in World Championship Wrestling, the groups like the Misfits, like the Natural Born Thrillers, like Team Canada, going at it in tremendous rivalries here in WCW as of late. To the corner, and Lieutenant Loco ran right into the back elbow from Palumbo, who then connects with a pair of right hands to the side of the head that blocked him. Loco to the ropes, again using the quickness, the speed, and caught hook from outside by Stasiak, able to avoid Palumbo. But Palumbo caught him now. Trouble upcoming for Loco as he's catapulted, oh my! Up and over the top rope and down to the floor. And look at Stasiak put the boost to him.
Yeah, wearing one of those Mark Madden style shirts. Don't know where he got that from, but now being chased away by another oddball in his own right, Corporal Cajun.
I don't think that's going to fit Madden. It's the same style, but certainly not the same size.
And you're trying to say it. Go ahead.
Oh, I think I've already said it.
Mark is otherwise.
He's the best-looking big man on television. Just ask him. Palumbo takes down Lieutenant Loco and goes for a right hand, but an excellent counter that time by Loco. Springs off the ropes, but he went airborne. He committed himself, and now Palumbo has him. Where's he going to take it? Overhead that time and just tossed him away with ease. Corporal Cajun at ringside shouting out words of encouragement, trying to get Loco fired up, but look at this. What a cocky display here by Palumbo. First with the knee across the chest that barely gets a 1 count.
I don't know.
Then another 2 count, but Loco quickly up to his feet.
Look at this. I don't know if that arrogant cover is going to come back to haunt him in this match, Mike. But eventually, during his career, it is going to hurt.
High vertical suplex in the takeover that time by Palumbo. Now posing for the crowd. Enjoying the offense that he has here against Loco. Hook of the leg, but it was that momentary delay. That 2 or 3 seconds before he went down to go for the pin. The hook of the leg, and that allows Lieutenant Loco to kick out. Palumbo follows up the offense. That time right hand sends him into the corner. Loco with the reversal. Digging down deep, able to float under, but catches a boot into the midsection, and Palumbo just lifted him overhead with the suplex. Now motions to the crowd that that's it. Time to put him away, he says. Again, slow to follow up the advantage. Very deliberate, yet very effective in his offense. And Palumbo takes him up to his shoulder. The Loco trying to fight his way out of it. And a form, a variation of a DDT, dropped Palumbo on his head. Again, both men slow to get to their feet. Loco able to duck under the move. Connects with a backdrop suplex. And high-risk move on the way. Lieutenant Loco heads out first to the ring apron. Now to the top, and Sean Stasiak, perfection, just cut him off. I don't think the referee saw it. Out of the vision of referee Mickey J, but Corporal Cajun gets into the ring. And I guess they're just going to turn him loose and let all 4 men go.
It's tough job for the referee. He wants to get the guys down and restore him in the ring.
Palumbo collides with his own partner, knocks him down, and Lieutenant Loco rolls him up for the 3 count.
How about that? It did come back to haunt him. And I guess in many ways, because of the size difference, a cruiserweight beats a heavyweight. That's got to be an upset, Mike.
I think you do have to consider it an upset, and it certainly deserves another look on our Valvoline Max Life replay.
A lot of bickering going on with Natural Born Thrillers. Look at this, over the top. The power exhibited. Good release that time as well by Chuck Palumbo. But then here's how it ended. He collides with perfection, and there to pick up the pieces with the roll-up and the win is Lieutenant Loco.
Valvoline Max Life. It's the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. When we return, more WCW Worldwide after this.
That will wrap up this edition of WCW Worldwide, but the questions remain. Lex Luger back in World Championship Wrestling. What are his motives? Where do his allegiances lie? Chronic, what do they have in store for the new tag team champions, Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Hare? And Brain, just who is the World Heavyweight Champion?
Well, if you ask all Booker T's fans, they're going to tell you Booker T's the world champion. He got out. If you ask Russo's fans, which there's millions, they'll tell you Russo got out. So I guess there's people right now at WCW that are reviewing the tape. They're going over interviews with other people, but it's very simple to me. Is Russo the boss?
Yes.
I would say Russo got out first. Just to be an objective viewpoint.
Oh, that's very objective. Vince Russo, the world champion, because he's the boss of the company, like we haven't seen that before. Next week on this broadcast, a preview of Halloween Havoc. We are 3 weeks away from Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. Also, we'll have some information on the WCW office Halloween party.
Ooh, I love office parties.
I love them to death. We'll have info next week on that.
Where's it going to be?
I'm not going to do it next week. I'll give you the gaga. Just hang on a minute. It's Electronic Arts Backstage Assault presenting Halloween Havoc. We'll have more next week for Bobby the
Brain costumes.
I'll tell you next week. I'm telling you.
I love these parties and
It's
things
worth
like
the
that.
wait. Hang on a minute. There's going to be tuna salad and everything. For Bobby the Brain Heenan, I'm Scott Hudson. We'll be back next week right here. I don't think we can say that. On WCW Worldwide.
What are you going to dress in?
And welcome to WCW Worldwide. I'm Scott Hudson, and Bobby the Brain Heenan is here as well. What a week it's been in World Championship Wrestling. We've got a new World Heavyweight Champion. Goldberg is on another streak. There is more gold in the trophy rack at Natural Born Thrillers headquarters, and we are 2 weeks away from Halloween Havoc in Las Vegas, Nevada. But Brain, what about Booker T? Once again at the top of the WCW mountain.
You know, there are people out there that have said Booker T's a fluke. He's lucky to have won the World Championship. He's all battered. He's all beaten up. How much longer can this guy go on? How much more can he take? Well, he proved it to me, and he proved it to the whole world. He's the real deal. He is the heavyweight champion of the world.
Much more about Booker T's unbelievable run to the top of World Championship Wrestling later on. And we've got exclusive worldwide action standing by with the preview. Mike Tenay, Tony Schiavone, and Stevie Ray.
And thanks very much, guys. This week, exclusively for you on WCW Worldwide, Screamin' Norman Smiley in singles competition. And Tony, we're going to have a 6-man tag. It's going to be the Filthy Animals against 3 Count.
3 Count, the Filthy Animals. That should be a great matchup. And how about what we have seen against the Filthy Animals as of late? That Disco and Alex Wright make up the Boogie Knights. The Filthy Animals, I guess one could say, maybe have their hands full in WCW right now.
Right, the rivalries continue among the factions here in World Championship Wrestling. Stevie, one of the strangest things we've ever seen in WCW, and that covers some ground, Screamin' Norman Smiley actually relinquishing the WCW Hardcore Championship belt, giving the title back.
You know, so let me tell you a couple of things about the Screamin' Norman. He was going through so much carnage week in and week out. Wouldn't you want to give that belt up to?
Guess I can't blame him.
Can't blame him at all. Because as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't even be a hardcore belt.
Wow, great shooting. Stevie Ray shooting from the hip and shooting from the lip. Let's send it back to the studio. Take it, guys.
Still to come, a preview of Halloween Havoc, but right now it's AskWCW.com. Remember the rules. Point your browser to WCW.com. Find the worldwide link. Email us your question. You may get your answer right here on WCW Worldwide. This week's question from Mike Finner of Sacramento, California, has a question for that 70s guy, Mike Awesome. His question, who is your favorite 70s TV star? Mike, here's your answer from that 70s guy.
Well, that's a good question, Mike, and an easy one. The answer would have to be Lee Majors, because he was in just so tight with Farrah Fawcett. And after all, I'm a $6 million man, just like he was.
Did you expect that 70s guy to come up with anybody else? But Brain, let me ask you this. Who is your favorite 1970s TV star?
TV star, 70s.
The 1970s.
Gene Okerlund.
Gene Okerlund had a TV show in the 70s?
No, but he's 75 years old.
Maybe you misunderstood the question. Fans, October 29th on, who you calling?
Gene.
October 29th in Las Vegas, Nevada, Electronic Arts WCW Backstage Assault presents Halloween Havoc. Have you got him yet?
No, I don't know the number of the home for the terminally bewildered.
Call information. Halloween Havoc in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's run them down from top to bottom. World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Booker T defends against Scott Steiner. Big Papa Pump gets his shot at the big goal. Goldberg will have to face both members of Chronic. Can the streak continue in Las Vegas? We will find out on pay-per-view. Brain, put yourself on hold there for 1 second. How about this one? Lance Storm and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, a handicap match against General Rection for the Canadian/U.S. Championship at Halloween Havoc.
The general better be ready, because you got a new hacksaw in there. You got a hacksaw like I've never seen before. I like his style now. I like the way he thinks. He's thinking Canadian. You get it, eh?
The natural-born Thrillers put their hardcore title on the line. Reno defending against Sergeant AWOL of the Misfits in Action. What about this one, Brain? Let's get your thoughts. The franchise Shane Douglas to team with Torrie Wilson. They take on the K-Dog Conan and Tigress at Halloween Havoc.
You know, when you look at the franchise and you look at Torrie Wilson, just watch them walk down the street, the way they appear, the way they dress, they look like they've come right off of Rodeo Drive. And then you look at Conan and Tigress, and you figure they've been to a garage sale someplace in Des Moines.
Des Moines?
Yeah.
I don't think Conan's been to Des Moines. That's coming up at Halloween Havoc. In addition, the chosen one, Jeff Jarrett, will do battle with Sting. Who will be a contender for the world title? Jarrett and Sting will do battle. It all goes down October 29th when Electronic Arts WCW Backstage Assault presents Halloween Havoc 2000 from Las Vegas, only on pay-per-view.
I'll call later. No, they're bathing him now.
Ooh, not a good visual. Let's send it to our exclusive WCW Worldwide Action standing by. Mike Tenay, Tony Schiavone, and Stevie Ray.
He loves those little bubbles.
And thanks very much, guys. Halloween Havoc is on the horizon. 2 weeks away from the October pay-per-view tradition, and Tony's going to be a very special event in Las Vegas, Nevada at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Because Halloween Havoc is going to be presented by EA Sports Electronic Arts, and I understand that there's going to be a new WCW video game on the horizon.
The video game is called WCW Backstage Assault, and it's going to be unique in that it is not going to happen at all in the ring. This video game, released on PlayStation, is going to happen in the parking lot, in the airport, any place you can think of to have a match other than the ring. You can have it at WCW Backstage Assault.
So it's going to be a reality-based game.
Yes,
Backstage Assault would then mirror life here in World Championship Wrestling. Isn't that right, Stevie? Because, as you know, action is not confined to the squared circle.
Well, the man that asked about that, they could have just followed him around right there.
That's it.
Screaming Norman Smiley. It might be a video about his life in the past few months. What about that?
The life that he does not like. As a matter of fact,
Be it as it may, is his life still.
Yeah, when we talked about it, the fact that he does not want, and he withdrew from the hardcore division. Stevie, you agreed with it, so I guess Norman does not want to play WCW Backstage Assault. You know, the fans all around the world are going to play this one.
I've never heard of such a thing. A guy giving up the gold just because he didn't want to be involved in that particular division. But as you mentioned earlier, Stevie, when you consider the physicality involved in those hardcore matches, I guess it's understandable.
You know, Tony, Mike, I've been involved in them. My brother's been involved in them. We've been involved in the singly and tag team. They're very, very brutal. And I've heard of people giving up titles. What are you talking about? People do it all the time.
I mean, I've heard of the organization forcing someone to relinquish a championship
No,
belt.
sometimes when a boxer does not want to make a weight class, he moves up and relinquishes his title. If he's a champ.
Wait a minute, when were we talking about boxing?
Well, you said you never heard of it before, and I'm going to know.
Well, Vince Russo gave up the title recently, and that, of course, enabled Booker T to become the WCW
He
champion.
would have got it anyway, Tony. Matter of fact, he never should have lost it. What are you talking about?
I'm not going to argue that point with you, Stevie, at all.
Well, Screamin' Norman Smiley is giving away both a height and weight advantage to a young man that we've been quite impressed with in recent weeks. What was that off the top? I'm talking about his opponent, the opposition provided by Big Kevin Northcutt. And the big man from New Orleans, Louisiana, just drove Smiley down to the mat, extends the leg across the chest, sort of an unorthodox cover, and only able to get a 2 count from referee Mickey J.
You know, over the years, Norman Smiley has been at the top of his game here and abroad. I still do not understand why he gets up and does such juvenile type things and something like that that might get you hurt in his business, Mike.
And then factor in the big wiggle, which we've seen many times from Screamin' Norman. You consider that juvenile?
Yeah, what about just a plain old wiggle? Why it's got to be a big wiggle?
You have an answer for that, Tony?
Yeah, I do have an answer for it.
Yeah, tell me.
And we all know how great a competitor that Screamin' Norman is.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until he instituted the big wiggle that he started getting the reaction from the fans.
Also built up his confidence at that point and now roll through on Northcutt, and here we go. I'm not sure how wise it is to get this big man enraged, and he just caught him with a tremendous standing sidekick.
Norman Smiley had some of the best credentials in this business. Why he continues to do things like that, I don't know if it's to get up. Who cares about the fans that are out there trying to beat somebody? Man, that's what your bread and butter, that's the way you get paid. Don't play around, just go out there and beat him. Especially a guy like this big young Mark Northcutt, who is an assassin in the ring right now. That could be you, Tony.
No, it couldn't be me at all.
That could be you.
Oh, look at this.
There it is out of the chicken wing, drops back, the submission hold applied. He's got the crossface, and there it is. There's the tap out from Kevin Northcutt. Screamin' Norman Smiley just wiggled his way to another win.
He is a complete wrestler. There is no question about that. But you got to think of a guy who does the big wiggle. Stevie, he's pointing at you here.
Man, sit down.
He wants you to wiggle with him.
I don't do no dumb dancing like that.
It's the Norman Conquest that scores another victory for Screamin' Norman. We'll be back with more Worldwide, exclusively for you right after this. And welcome back, everyone. You know, it's been true for years in sports entertainment. There's strength in numbers, and the factions continue to grow in WCW. Stevie, settle down. I mean, I know you like this music.
Hey, man.
You see Stevie Ray rocking out the 3 count, Tony?
3 count is the closest thing to NSYNC right now, baby. You got to know that.
Oh, Tony, I'm sure you can shed some light on that being such a big NSYNC mark.
If my daughter heard you say it, Stevie, she'd come over here and jack slap you right now.
Wait a minute, brother.
Lori Beth would do that to Stevie Ray?
You cannot say NSYNC and 3 count in the same breath.
Hey, man, what you been teaching your daughter, Tony? That falls back on the parents as far as I'm concerned.
Ask her mom.
My daughter, on the other hand, Alana, she loves 3 count.
Wow.
She loves it.
I took that.
I took her to a Backstreet Boys concert. She said, Daddy, that was good. But they ain't no 3 count. Now, can you dig it?
She was right about that.
Yeah, they ain't no 3 count. Look at that at ringside. That is Rey Mysterio Jr.'s son, Dominic.
Oh, yeah.
Offering well wishes to Ray in this 6-man tag team matchup involving 2 of those factions that we spoke about earlier. It's 3 count against the filthy animals, and they're going to send Ray Jr., Juventud Guerrera, and K-Dog Conan into action in this battle.
Now, has Conan been cleared to Ralph?
Yeah, I believe he has.
Finally.
After his surgery.
Sure.
Something else we got to say, too, that this is one of the few times we've seen Juventud Guerrera perform since he went down on a recent edition of Thunder and hurt his knee. So
I think he hyperextended his knee, Tony.
Yeah, fortunately it was, as you mentioned, just a hyperextension. Just a sprain of that right knee that was suffered by Juventud Guerrera. But the world saw it, and one has to wonder if 3 count is going to take advantage of a situation like that, Stevie.
I think we got a good one right now. Hey, that's here we go.
Maybe
we got a good one right now. Look at the speed on Juventud Guerrera.
The animals send Hoobie out to start this match.
Smacking him out.
The open hand slap to Sugar Shane's face. Swinging off the rope comes the Juice, takes him down with his shoulder block. A leapfrog by Sugar Shane Helms.
Right hand over the top.
Almost took his head off with the clothesline. Juventud able to avoid it, and then snaps off the head scissors.
And he does Evan Courageous from behind.
Oh, and it was from behind, and he just leveled him with the lariat. Boom.
Rey Mysterio from behind.
Evened it up, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh.
Shannon Moore in, and there's a rolling clothesline for Shannon Moore from the K-Dog.
Looks like a train wreck again, guys.
Bodies all over the ring to the corner. Shannon Moore. Oh! Did you see that?
Man!
Conan just elevated Shannon Moore over the top. Tossing all the way to the concrete floor and follows up the advantage right out here in front of the broadcast position, putting the boot switch. Look at the action in the ring.
It's a wonder he didn't break his leg on the outside.
It's a wonder he didn't end up in the second row, Tony.
Double kick from Hoobie and Ray. There goes Hoobie up, slingshot into a cross body block. There goes Mysterio. Boy, with the flip up and over the top, crashing down, and the filthy animals are in control.
Here comes Conan.
Meanwhile, in the ring, the float over by Conan. Maybe we got him inspired tonight. Boot to the nose, and he dropped him on his head with a DDT.
You know, so many times we sing the praise of Ray and Hoobie and their high-flying
What is
tactics.
this?
But Conan showed us something to try. Look at...
Oh, he had him full Nelson, and Rey Mysterio off the top of the diving headbutt to the midsection. Now it's Mysterio and Shannon Moore. Great move by Ray. Oh, look how he walked right into that back kick.
He's taking too much. He's going to pick up the offense right now. Shannon Moore's a hell of a wrestler, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, everyone in this ring, I think you can say that about all the members of 3 Count, whether you like their music or not.
Well, I like the music.
Face jam by Ray, springing off the rope, driving Moore face first to the canvas.
I got to know one thing, Mike.
Sucker's got to know what?
Sucker's got to know this. Where is Evan Courageous? I haven't seen him do nothing in his whole match.
Well, he's getting involved now, and he just helped lay Rey Mysterio Jr. out with a triple team. Referee Robinson down for the count. Hoobie in to break it up at 2.
Well, why don't they tag Evan Courageous in? He's probably the freshest man in the ring right now.
Well, Shannon Moore says he's going to be able to do it himself, and with the leg extended behind the back of Mysterio, he drives him face first to that and now turns things over, but not to Evan Courageous.
There we go again. It seems like sometimes Evan Courageous does not want to get involved in the action with his 2 partners sometimes. He just wants to lead these songs and not do anything. What's up on that, Tony and Mike?
I agree with that. A lot of times he just wants to sing and let the other 2 guys take care of our business.
And they do it very well.
Taking care of business at this point. Sugar Shane Helms sending Mysterio just first diagonally.
Yes.
And it's tremendous super kick. The super kick stopped Mysterio in his tracks.
Why are they saying USA?
No, I don't think that has anything to do with USA. I think they're derisively chanting for 3 counts.
Derisively, huh?
You like that, huh?
I love it. Oh, good move.
Double team move here by 3 count.
Oh, leg drop by Sugar Shane Helms.
And Hoovy able to break it up as well. Now Moore sends Conan down. Hey, look at this. Evan Courageous with the elbow drop off the top, but immediately gets back out to the ring.
When the man is beat up, down, and can't do anything. Yeah, he comes off like a big coward.
Steve is starting to make sense, isn't it?
Hey, I make sense all the time.
I mean,
and Mike.
He just doesn't like Evan Courageous.
No, I like Evan Courageous, but hey, man, you got to hold up your part.
Mysterio ducks the clothesline. And
big move by Evan.
That was reversed 2 or 3 times before the spine buster by Evan Courageous kicks down Ray Jr. and then a cheap shot for Conan.
Look at Evan go. Look at him go now.
Lit a fire under Evan Courageous.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he's hurt.
He didn't hear me, baby. He was waiting for the right time and picking the right moment to get on the smallest guy in the ring. That's where he was going.
To the corner goes Mysterio. Able to get the boot up. And then he's
big power slam.
Power slam by Courageous. Doesn't go for the pin, and I'm surprised, guys.
He's doing a lot of trash talking in there as well. And you're right. I think this is a big mistake. I think he should at least try to get the 3. You never know. You may win it that quickly.
Turns things over now to Sugar Shane.
Why are they rooting USA?
It's because we're in the USA. They're happy. They're proud.
Oh, okay.
Double clothesline. Mysterio avoids contact. But he comes back, he's powerbombed, but he takes down that at the same time, and there goes Courageous.
He wasn't anywhere close with that move.
Nothing but canvas. Conan asking, begging for the tag. Can Ray Jr. get to the corner?
They got to stop it.
There's a hot tag for Conan.
Conan, Copper's bomb, baby, off the rope, double clothesline. Look at the big man go. Oh, man. Look out!
Missile drop kick off the top by Juventud.
Clothesline over the top by Conan.
There's a clothesline from Hoovy. Now they're going to concentrate their efforts on Shannon Moore. To the rope. Conan takes him up. Oh, with an assist from Juventud. They drive him face first to the mat. And now, they're going to make a win. They're going to make a win.
Hey, I like those britches that Hoovy has on.
They are colorful, and gets to the leg by
I've seen a bull like that in Texas.
Got him.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
match. You got to give it to him. That was a great match.
It certainly was. They tear down the house on WCW Worldwide. Whoever put that match together, hats off and congratulations.
Get a shot of them britches.
What a tremendous shot and what a tremendous win for the Filthy Animals. But 3 count looks great in defeat. And Tony, this is
Look at Hoovy. Oh, yeah.
maximum life replay taken.
Britches and all, over goes Hoovy, and then goes Ray over the top, and then look at that.
Oh. That's it. 1,
Shannon Moore.
2,
Down and out.
3.
And that was our Valvoline Maximum Life Replay, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. More worldwide after this timeout.
And that's going to wrap up this edition of WCW Worldwide. What great 6-man action we saw earlier on with the Animals and 3 count, but talk about action. 2 weeks away from Halloween Havoc and Brain, Goldberg's career is on the line. If the streak makes it to Las Vegas at Havoc, he's got the last 2 obstacles before the end of his career, potentially in Chronic.
Well, you're right about that. You know, one-on-one, take one of Chronic, take Brian Adams, put him in there with Goldberg. Goldberg would have a tough time beating him. But put both Chronic in there, Goldberg all by himself, it's too big a mountain for him to climb.
At Halloween Havoc, Goldberg will be gone, or he will be 2 victories further along to beating his 176-0 streak in World Championship Wrestling and getting another shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. Speaking of that title, Brain, can Scott Steiner jump that last hurdle? Will he become the World Heavyweight Champion? He gets a shot at Havoc against Booker T.
And you know, he's never had the heavyweight championship. This is one thing that has avoided the life of Scott Steiner. This man's determination, you can see how determined he is by the way he speaks, by the look of his body, his determination. Now, this man is going to become the heavyweight champion of the world. Ironic, it should be in Vegas, a betting town. Bet the farm, bet the kids, bet the house, Bet Granny. He'll come out a winner.
Don't bet Granny, but there you have it. The Brain going out on the limb, predicting Scott Steiner will become the World Heavyweight Champion. We'll find out in 2 weeks at Halloween Havoc. For Bobby the Brain Heenan, I'm Scott Hudson. We'll have more Havoc news next week right here on WCW Worldwide. And welcome to WCW. Do you mind? Welcome to WCW Worldwide. I'm Scott Hudson, joined by Bobby the Brain Heenan. Next weekend, Halloween Havoc 2000. Electronic Arts WCW Backstage Assault presents the October pay-per-view tradition. And on top, Booker T and Scott Steiner for the World Heavyweight Championship. We'll see later on in this program how the heat got turned up between those two athletes. And the franchise Shane Douglas, Corey Wilson, Tigress, and Conan, they took their war down under. We'll see that later, but Brain, I want your thoughts on this. Goldberg in his trek toward 177 straight victories. That streak continues in WCW.
Well, you know, I'm looking at the November edition of the WCW magazine with Major Guns on the cover.
Yes.
And there's a big story in here, 6 pages on Goldberg. And you know, Goldberg's going to do it. Goldberg's going to pass 177. Because he did it before. It's going to be harder now because Russo's involved, and Russo doesn't want him to make it. But now Goldberg wants it more than ever. I predict he'll go over 200.
Over 200.
Over 200, are you deep?
No, not now. Boy, Goldberg 200-0 plus, according to the Brain. We've got exclusive worldwide action still to come in this broadcast. Let's send it to Mike Tenay, Stevie Ray, and Tony Schiavone for a preview.
I'm never wrong, you know.
Well, you've been wrong.
No, I've never been wrong.
And thanks very much, guys. This week, exclusively for you on WCW Worldwide, Robbie Rage in singles competition, as well as a matchup involving Kwee-Wee and Christopher Daniels. And Tony, New Blood used to be a faction in WCW. Now it's a way of life.
It really is a way of life. Christopher Daniels, we've seen before. Kwee-Wee has really been a top player in a short amount of time. And obviously, Paisley is a grand influence on him. Paisley has been at this broadcast desk for, look at Stevie, shaking his head over there already about Paisley and ringside with Kwee-Wee. We're going to see both of them here this week, Stevie.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for us. But, like you said earlier, Kwee-Wee in a short period of time, he's been making a lot of fire and havoc around here now. I'm with Kwee-Wee. I like it now.
Really?
But as far as that Paisley goes, he's just another yak in the way.
Well, the Young Guns get their chance in World Championship Wrestling. The New Blood Showcase. Now let's send it back to the studio.
Get rid of yak.
Literally, we get tens of thousands of emails week after week here at WCW, compliments of AskWCW.com. The rules are quite simple. Point your browser, WCW.com, find the worldwide link, and email us your question. It's just that simple. If we use your question on the air, you'll get your answer right here on WCW Worldwide. And this week, our question is from Marshall Salt, of one of my favorite towns, Savannah, Georgia. And his question is for Sting. What was your favorite World Heavyweight Championship match? Marshall, here's your answer from the Stinger.
Oh. Marshall, I don't have just one most favorite world title match. I have two. The first one would be the Great American Bash against Ric Flair in 1990 after I'd come off of major reconstructive knee surgery. And the Great American Bash, I think it was July of 1990 against Flair. That one was huge. Baltimore, Maryland, I'll never forget it. And second would be Hulk Hogan at Starrcade 1997, I think it was. And that was big for me as well. So, not one, two.
There's your answer from Sting. Are you all right?
I'm okay. Put wheels on these things.
Well, what were they thinking? There's the answer. Ric Flair back in 1990, Hulk Hogan back in 1997. Sting's favorite matches, and Sting will be a part of Halloween Havoc coming up next weekend in Las Vegas. Electronic Arts presents WCW Backstage Assault and Halloween Havoc 2000 from Las Vegas, and right across the top, the World Heavyweight Championship. Booker T defends against Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. And Brent, I want your thoughts on this one. Goldberg puts his streak on the line in Vegas. 2-on-1 against Chronic.
You know, I don't know any tag team at WCW that wants to even get in the ring with Chronic. They work together as one. They're together at a combined weight of over 500 pounds. If Goldberg gets by Chronic, I don't know what he was thinking. If he gets by Chronic, he's going to have it made to 200. But this is going to be the measuring stick right here. Can he do it? Can he get by these two? I really don't know. And Sting, one more thing. Don't concern yourself with the past. The match with Hogan, the match with Flair. You got the biggest match of your life coming up, pal, with Jeff Jarrett.
Next weekend at Halloween Havoc, Jeff Jarrett, the chosen one, says Sting doesn't have the heart for the sport anymore. We will find out in Las Vegas. And what about this? Mixed tag team action. The K-Dog Conan teams with Tigress to take on the franchise Shane Douglas and Corey Wilson. Hardcore title on the line from the Natural Born Thrillers. Reno defends against Sergeant AWOL of the Misfits in action. And I want your thoughts here too, Brain. The Canadian U.S. Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Lance Storm, will team with Hacksaw Jim Duggan 2-on-1 against General Rection.
You know, this is going to be something that people thought they've never seen. They will never see in their life. To see Duggan put down the American flag and start waving a Canadian flag. Shave the beard. Everything is ho now for the Canadians. I look for the General to be doing a lot of latrine.
What does that mean? So you say he's going to lose?
No, I'll tell you when we're off air what latrine means.
I don't know if I want to hear that or not. It's next weekend in Las Vegas. It's Halloween Havoc, brought to you by Electronic Arts, WCW Backstage Assault. Hope to see you there or on pay-per-view. And right now it's time for exclusive worldwide action. We send it to the arena. Mike Tenay, Stevie Ray, and Tony Schiavone standing by.
These porcelain things.
I know what a latrine is. Oh. Doing latrine. Hey.
And thanks very much, guys. Yes, we're counting down the days to the October pay-per-view tradition. It's next Sunday, October the 29th. It's Halloween Havoc. WCW returns to the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Stevie, I know it's going to be a tremendous Halloween Havoc.
Yes, it will be.
Let me say something. Let me say something about Halloween Havoc. And you have sat by the last couple of weeks, and you have had to be an announcer and not get involved. But your brother is going to defend the title against Big Papa Pump.
Yes, he will. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to my brother. He has came to me. And I'm telling you right now, Big Papa Pump is going to get what's coming to him one way or the other. And Tony and Mac, I want you to do me a favor.
Okay.
For that night in Halloween Havoc, do me a favor.
One favor.
I want to be down there with you guys.
Wow. Can you be down there? Can you be down there as an announcer?
Yes, I can.
Stevie, are you sure that's a good idea?
I want you to go to the committee and please, I want to be down there with you. And I want to call the match where my brother disintegrates.
But
Big Papa Pump.
you won't be able to get involved. Think about your contract. Think about what's at stake.
I'm not going to. I just want to be first hand and right there to see this guy get destroyed.
One-on-one competition involving Jason Styles and the man who just grabbed the side headlock.
Big Robbie Rage.
Big Robbie Rage. And Rage explodes off the ring rope, catches him with the shoulder blocks, takes Styles down to the mat. Styles answers with a hip toss takeover.
Now, Mike, we've talked about raw talent. We've talked about young talent coming up here in WCW. And I know this Robbie Rage. I've worked out with this guy in the gym, and I'm telling you right now, he's one of the only guys that can hang with Big Stevie Ray on the heavyweight tip. You know what I'm talking about. Perfect conditioning. He knows all the fundamentally holds. This guy's good.
A prime example of that new blood that is rising in World Championship Wrestling, and Robbie Rage has been traveling all over the world.
Yes, he has.
Especially as of late to the Orient to study submission wrestling technique, and we saw it there with a variation of the STF, and gets up and he just rocks Styles with a knife edge chop, sets him up, caught him again.
Oh, yeah. Now, Styles, I don't know too much about Tony. Mike, maybe you can tell me something about him.
I'm not that familiar with him either, but it appears at least here in the early going of this matchup that he's maintaining, he's holding his own against Robbie Rage and goes to the top. He's moving, he connected to the cross body, gets two and did not hook the leg, and easily Robbie Rage is able to power out.
Man, that powerful, you got to. You have to hook the leg. Look at this. Reverse it. Look at the leap off ability. Look out, look out. Oh, yeah. That was not a suplex. That was a suplex.
We know the difference.
Overhead suplex, not suplex or suplex. By Robbie Rage.
He drove him down. Not only did he let him go, but he made sure that he landed on top of him on that suplex as well.
Oh, yeah. He's picking it up a notch now.
Guys, that's why his future is so bright. He can combine the basics of wrestling. He can use suplexes like we've seen. And when you factor in that submission style that he has, he brings an awful lot to the table. strength. Power slammed him after driving him back first into the corner turnbuckle. Look at the agility as well for the big man. Slingshot into a leg drop.
Compact, solid. This guy is on his way. Another young competitor that might be on his way to the top. And do you know, Tony and Mike, this guy started out as a tag team competitor.
He certainly did, and he just took down Styles with a backbreaker and applied the reverse chin lock and then a chicken wing as well.
That's a Jimmy the Maki from the Orient.
There it is. A Sinanomaki.
No. Sinanomaki. You should know that, Mike.
Okay, I know that. I was just letting you get over for once. Here we go again. Robbie Rage gets the win. We'll be back with more Worldwide right after this. And welcome back, everyone. An interesting singles matchup. The showcase that we've spoken about, involving the youngsters, the new blood of World Championship Wrestling. A chance to display their skills. And this young man, Christopher Daniels, Stevie Ray, has been a real hit on the independent circuit. Let's see if he can take it up to the big league. Let's see if he can prove himself here in World Championship Wrestling.
Well, I'm telling you right now, Mike, it does not get any higher than WCW. You do not go any further. This is the big league. This is the major league of professional wrestling. And if Christopher Daniels wants to show himself, he better get it on with the Queen Wee Man tonight if he keep pacing out his way, if you know what I'm saying.
Stevie really has it in for Paisley, doesn't he, Tony?
Well, you know, Paisley's been at this table before, and she's
getting on my nerves.
I was getting on your nerves.
There's heat between you and Paisley.
No, ain't no heat between me and her. I'm just telling you like it is, baby. Hey, I'm telling you, look at this. Look at this.
You know, it is very eye-grabbing.
Yeah, let me say, Paisley is stunning. She is beautiful. Not only that, she really carries herself well.
She's pretty in pink.
You guys don't get it, do you? I mean, I don't know how many times I gotta tell you, you ain't gonna get it. If it wasn't for Paisley, I think Queen Wee would be a top guy in WCW at this very moment.
And why do you say that? Are you talking about distractions? Do you feel like Queen Wee can't remain focused and concentrate on his opponent?
Tony, if I have to answer that for you.
Well, it's Mike, but go ahead.
You're too old for me to help you.
Well, you're right on the second part. Look at this. Every time Queen Wee gets hit or hits, I mean, glitter comes off of his head.
Springboarding a sunset flip and a 2 count by Queen Wee here in the opening minute of his matchup against Christopher Daniels.
You gotta realize, Queen Wee is in his own domain out here in California, and I think he went to his own hairdresser today.
I guess only his hairdresser would know for sure. Christopher Daniels.
I know.
You know?
Yes, I do.
Fez West by Queen Wee. And I never thought I'd say the name Lou Fez and Queen Wee in the same sentence.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Queen Wee is upset. Queen Wee is upset.
We know
the referee didn't even stop it.
When he gets angry, Stevie, he really turns it loose.
And that's what I'm saying. If he didn't have this jack out here with him distorting his brain, he would probably be a top guy, a top 20 guy in WCW.
Distorting his brain. If that says it all. Off the scoop and a slam.
Yeah,
Queen Wee goes airborne. It's Mike.
I'm Tony over here, Steve. Whatever.
Do we need name tags?
I'm talking to you, Tony.
I know you are.
Well, answer me.
Daniels is going to fly.
Oh, my goodness. I think he knocked himself out, Mike.
I don't see how he couldn't have.
I think he knocked himself out.
Went for a flip off the top, off the springboard, and it appeared that he went head first right into the concrete floor, and he's dazed. But he's up.
Yeah, that's the amazing part about this whole thing. He's on his feet.
That's amazing. Oh, I mean, it's just the compression of the vertebrae in the neck. When you land on a move like that, it's incredible the resiliency that he has just to be able to get up, and he brings Queen Wee back into the ring.
Did you see what he just did right there?
Seemed like he had
what he just did?
a conversation there with Paisley.
He told that jack to get back.
I like it. Get back, you yak.
There it is. That's how you got to treat him, baby.
Yeah, get back, you yak. Pretty in pink, and only his hairdresser knows for sure.
He touched all bases of this one, haven't we?
Everything, yeah.
That's pro wrestling, baby. Look at this.
Right
Big
hand.
right hand.
Pair of them, now
Big right
three
hand.
on the jaw. Look at the repeated right hands from Queen Wee. To the ropes goes Daniels, and that drop kick is on target and in tight.
Right on target, right in the lip.
You know, Mike, you said that you never thought you would say Lou Fez and Queen Wee in the same sentence. And I can understand why, because of all the glitter And all the fluff. Well, hold on here.
But you're going to tell me that he can go and he gets a 2 count before Daniels is able to escape. Of course, I read your mind.
read your mind. The guy is fundamentally sound in the ring. Stevie, you would agree with that.
I just want to know one thing, Tony.
What's that?
Why don't you call him a fluffer?
I said fluff. I meant, exterior stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
The double underhook by Daniels. Going to take him out.
Man, that's a finish, Tony. What does we call that?
Drove him face first, dropped him on his head, lays back with a nonchalant cover, and I think that may have cost him, Stevie.
Kick out, nonchalant. That's the inexperience of a guy that's been working on the independent circuit with the junior league guys. He's up in the big leagues right now. You got to take advantage of every opportunity.
Just what we talked about at the top of this matchup. Is he going to be able to take it to the next level to compete here in WCW? Out of the fireman's carry. Queewee able to avoid him. Now from behind, Daniels with a half Nelson. He blocked it. Oh, moving down the canvas. Now can he follow up with the pin attempt?
Puts your leg.
Shoulders are down and
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Give it to Queewee. Give it to him. Give him his props, Mike. Give him his props, Tony.
He deserves every bit of it.
Well, why did you say anything, man?
Well, sometimes you can just talk
You
too
got
much.
your eye over there on Paisley like every other clown around this building does.
Oh, we were momentarily
She
distracted.
is beautiful. Wave to her.
So what?
Let's take another look at this one, guys. Tony, take it.
Take a look. Oh! Head first, like you said, Mike, on the concrete. And then Queewee with a glitter buster sending down Christopher Daniels.
Glitter buster, Stevie. You can say it.
You didn't like that?
The what?
That was an ad-lib. Your winner, Queewee.
He scores the victory on Worldwide. Let's send it back to the studios after this timeout.
This edition of WCW Worldwide, but don't forget, it's next weekend in Las Vegas. Electronic Arts WCW Backstage Assault presents Halloween Havoc 2000 and Brain, Sting, and Jeff Jarrett. We actually saw Jeff Jarrett dressed up as the old Sting on Nitro, but Jarrett says Sting has lost his heart.
Well, Jarrett should know, and if Sting has lost his heart, Sting has lost the match. Because I don't care how much wrestling knowledge you have, Scott. I don't care how big you are, how many years you've been in this sport. You've got to have heart. You've got to have that, the desire to win. You lose one inch of that, it's over.
Will it be over next weekend for Sting against Jeff Jarrett? Jarrett thinks so. Will it be over for Booker T? Will the World Heavyweight Champion go down? And will Scott Steinerbrain, will he put that final jewel in his crown next weekend and be world champ?
He will do that. And you know why I say he's going to do that? Because he has never held the World Heavyweight Championship. The man has never held it. He can taste it. He can feel it. This is something he wants. Booker T, you have heart. You've proven that. But you're all busted up. Steiner has no heart. And I don't mean it the way Sting has no heart. He has no heart for you. And you're going to find out. We're going to have a new champion.
Going out on a limb, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Scott Steiner to be the next World Heavyweight Champion next weekend at Halloween Havoc. Fans, don't forget to join us. Electronic Arts WCW Backstage Assault presents Halloween Havoc 2000 next weekend from Las Vegas. For Bobby the Brain Heenan, I'm Scott Hudson. See you next weekend right here on Worldwide and in Vegas for Halloween Havoc.
I'm never wrong.
It is Halloween Havoc weekend. I'm Scott Hudson, and this is Bobby the Brain Heenan. Are those horns on your head? Are you just glad to see me?
I happen to be a very handsome hat rack. I love Halloween. This is my favorite time of the year. You can go door to door and beg for food. You can scare people, and you can't get in any trouble. Greatest time of the year for me.
Well, you can do it legally, Halloween, anyway, we'll talk about that later on, but mark your calendar. It's Sunday night, Halloween Havoc from Las Vegas. Electronic Arts WCW Backstage Assault brings you the October pay-per-view tradition. And on this edition of WCW Worldwide, we will talk about Goldberg putting his streak on the line, 2-on-1 against Chronic. The franchise goes animal hunting, a brutal attack on Conan and Tigress. But Brain, we start off with Sting and Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett has questioned Sting's heart, but in Melbourne, Australia, Jeff Jarrett questioned Sting's health.
Well, Sting has to be very careful here. Sting has to be extra careful because he took a heck of a shot from Jarrett. took a heck of a shot in the head. And when Jarrett talks about his heart, if the man has no heart, if he has no desire to win anymore, compete, he's a loser. He's beaten. And I think Jarrett's got his number now. As a matter of fact, I know Jarrett's got his number.
If you blow into this end, can you like call Moose out of the tundra with those things?
I don't have no idea where Moose lives.
Let's go to Melbourne, Australia. This is Nitro. Sting and Kevin Nash in a lumberjack matchup. The good news from down under, Conan and Tigress are okay. They will be in Las Vegas this Sunday night, but the plan for the franchise brain was to take them out. He did not want them to make it to Halloween Havoc, which begs the question, what will the franchise do now that Conan and Tigress are back vertical and ready to fight?
Now you've made the franchise mad. He had a plan. He was going to take Conan and Tigress out, but now he's got to come up with something else. And when this man decides he wants to do something, and I'm talking about the franchise, he'll do it. So Conan, you better be ready now. You better bring all your street fighting ability. You better bring all the smarts you have, because now you've made the franchise mad, and once he gets mad, he gets even.
And that may happen Sunday night. MGM Grand Garden Arena there in Las Vegas. Electronic Arts WCW Backstage Assault presents Halloween Havoc. The franchise and Tori Wilson take on Conan and Tigress mixed tag at Halloween Havoc 2000. You know, Buff Bagwell is a big part of Halloween Havoc, and Chiquita, one of my favorite Nitro girls. You can see Chiquita, by the way, in the new edition of Black Women Today magazine, but recently they ventured to Chattanooga, Tennessee at Sir Gooney's Family Funhouse. Let's go up to the valley in Chattanooga, Buff and Chiquita.
We're in Chattanooga, and I'm Buff and she's Chiquita, and we are going to show everybody the stuff. Nice to meet you.
Watch it,
I got sugar. There you go. Good hat. Good. Buff Daddy and Chiquita.
La 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 la.
Line the stuff.
I'm here with Bob. We love our fans. WCW loves you.
Certainly was a great time up on Signal Mountain in Chattanooga with Buff Bagwell and Chiquita of the Nitro Girls. My broadcast colleague Bobby the Brain Heenan has ventured off into the cemetery part of our Halloween set. I'm almost afraid to ask.
I'm here. I'm here.
We can see you.
I got my night goggles on. Oh, I have good news for all the Elvis Presley fans. He is still with us. I have found 3 dozen donuts. There's a prune Danish here, there's a cluster, there's a glaze, there's a chocolate.
What is this, a dessert tray? This
means that Elvis is still here, because there's only 9 donuts missing. It's fresh. Elvis is alive. I'll take off. I'll see you a little bit later, Scott. I'm gonna go out and get myself a cold one here.
Oh, well, leave the donuts for Pete's sake. Elvis make it. Bobby the Brain Heenan, everybody. Elvis apparently still alive. When we come back to WCW Worldwide, seriously, leave me a Danish. Ow! It's Goldberg and Chronic. The streak is on the line Sunday night. Stay where you are. And welcome back to WCW Worldwide. Are you all right?
Why?
You look kind of peaked. You got a fever?
No, I have a femur.
Ugh.
I found it in the graveyard.
It's time for AskWCW.com. All you got to do, point your browser to WCW.com, find the worldwide link, and send us your question. You may get your question answered by a WCW superstar right here on Worldwide. No computer, but here's the question. Thank you, Chad Damiani at WCW.com. It's for Bobby the Brain Heenan. Our AskWCW.com question.
Yes, I was a star all my years in this great industry.
Do you mind? Let me ask the question first. Nobody cares to hear about Sheboygan and the VFW. Bobby the Brain Heenan, I am the Disco Inferno's biggest fan. But what the heck is up with that duck? It's from Adam Leslie of Atlantic, Iowa. Brain, what's up with Disco's duck?
Smaller bill.
That's it?
That's it.
We apologize, Adam, on behalf of Bobby the Brain Heenan, but if you've got a question, send it to WCW.com at the worldwide link. You may get it answered right here on WCW Worldwide. If we could, maybe get back into the spirit of Halloween and think about Sunday night. Electronic Arts WCW Backstage Assault presents Halloween Havoc 2000 from Las Vegas. Let's run down that huge card. Brain, I want to get your thoughts on a couple of these matches. World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Booker T defends against Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, Brain.
Bet the farm on Scott Steiner. He's never had a world championship. He's the hungriest man in this sport today. I suggest if you're a betting person or you're a Scott Steiner fan, you get this pay-per-view because you're going to see him become the heavyweight champion of the world. That's just what I feel in my bones.
I don't disagree with you there. I think it might be Scott Steiner's night, Sunday night at Halloween Havoc. Goldberg puts the win streak on the line. Can he make it to 177-0? What an obstacle. Two of them in Vegas. Chronic against Goldberg. Jeff Jarrett has questioned the heart and now the health of Sting. They will settle the score Sunday night in Vegas. Sting and Jeff Jarrett. How about this? A mixed tag team matchup. The franchise, Shane Douglas, will team with Torrie Wilson. Brain, let me get your thoughts on this to take on Conan and Tigress Sunday night.
Well, Conan will be going home in that 58 Pontiac he drives by himself because Tigress will be going in the meat wagon to the hospital. That's my prediction.
Canadian/United States Heavyweight Championship matchup. The title is on the line. Look at this. Lance Storm will team with Hacksaw Jim Duggan to defend against General Rection. A handicap matchup with the champion with the two men on his team. Please, that doesn't seem fair, but then again, it is Lance Storm. The WCW Hardcore title will be at stake. Reno will defend, I can't believe this one, against Sergeant AWOL of the Misfits in Action. Brain, let me get your thoughts on this. How about a DNA match? David Flair and Buff Bagwell, DNA, Sunday night.
Well, you know, Bagwell was embarrassed by David Flair.
Absolutely.
David Flair tried to make a fool out of Bagwell, and nobody makes a fool out of Bagwell. But then again, David Flair isn't all there right now. He's not thinking with both horns, you know.
Thinking with both horns. Tremendous. Who will control World Championship Wrestling? Just added to Halloween Havoc. Don't answer that, Brain. Will it be the Cat? He'll have Miss Jones in his corner against the interim commissioner, Mr. Above Average Mike Sanders. Sanders and the Cat just added to Halloween Havoc. It's an extravaganza. You don't want to miss it. Electronic Arts WCW Backstage Assault presents Havoc 2000. We will be in Vegas. You can join us on pay-per-view. And right now it's time for exclusive WCW Worldwide action. Our broadcast colleagues Mike Tenay and Larry Zbyszko are standing by.
And thanks very much, guys. Yes, we are standing by in the Worldwide Arena. And Living Legend, it's great to be back with you.
Well, it's my pleasure, Professor, but we're not standing by. I've got a very comfortable seat here.
Well, it's good that you're in a comfortable situation to call this exclusive one-on-one matchup involving this youngster by the name of Alan Walker as he tries to make a name for himself here in World Championship Wrestling against a very accomplished wrestler as well as submission expert by the name of Robbie Rage.
I'll tell you, Robbie Rage does have a lot more experience, and that's something, all the working out, all the practicing of holds. I mean, you can practice putting on a hold 1,000 times, but when that bell rings and the cameras are rolling and the adrenaline's flowing and the people are yelling and screaming, forget all that practice. Experience leads the way. Rage not only has experience, check out those pectoral majors.
In tremendous condition is Robbie Rage, and he certainly proved himself in a previous stint here in World Championship Wrestling as one half of the High Voltage Tag Team. However, since that time, Larry, Robbie Rage has primarily been competing over in the Orient, in Japan. And when I spoke to him prior to this matchup, he said that he has been working almost exclusively on his submission technique to add that to his already quite tremendous wrestling skill.
Well, I tell you, it's a smart move. A lot of guys go over to the Orient, the Japanese, very disciplined. I mean, these guys are raised in dojos. You want to get some experience along with, away from the politics of American wrestling. Very smart to go to Japan because if you got the heart, if you could make the grade and survive a couple tours in Japan, you will be a lot more equipped to handle yourself over here where the big boys are wrestling.
And Larry, as you notice here in the early going, that submission skill and technique comes into play because we see that Robbie Rage has been working on one part of Alan Walker's body, and that's the arm. Walker able to duck the clothesline. Rage brings off the ropes, able to go through Rage. I think surprised him that time with a drop kick, and the second one was definitely on target.
Yeah, the second one was high enough. Couldn't
kick
hold him
out by
down.
Rage.
See that first drop kick, Mike, hit him in the chest. Robbie Rage too thick. Second one, though, Walker got it up high right in the jaw, and that snapped his head back. And that, he lost his balance. But you get a headlock, don't hold on too long. He did.
Back to the basics for Walker, off the side headlock. Rage able to send him off into the ropes. And there's the belly-to-belly overhead release suplex by Rage.
Yeah, with authority, too. I mean, he just slammed him down. Walker getting up real slow and almost turning into a cat-and-mouse game here for Mr. Rage.
In his initial stint in WCW, we were certainly impressed with the various array of suplexes from Rage. A series of knife-edge chops takes Walker down to the mat. Surprised at this point that Rage didn't try to follow it up. Now he goes to work on the leg.
Oh, there you go. Get that ankle lock on there. But the suplexes, again, one of the things you're going to pick up in Japan. And these guys, you stand still too long, you're going for a free ride. Right here, Rage switched it up, went from the arm to the ankle. But I think with Mr. Walker's condition, it doesn't matter what he's working on.
Step over toe hold this time, taken from behind by Rage, and he's going to try and reach through. And a variation there of the STF submission hold. But did you see that Walker makes it to the ring ropes, gets the safety of the rope break before Rage brings him back in and drives the knee directly to the canvas.
Well, tomorrow morning when Walker wakes up, he may be sorry he made it to the ring rope. Could have easily passed right out, but give the guy credit. He's got some heart in there.
Rage almost had the submission win that he needed that time against Walker. Now very methodical in his offense. Scoop, has him up on the shoulder. Where's he going to take him? Not to the mat. This time drives him back first into the top turnbuckle.
But he's not done with him yet. He's going to run across again and just smash that lower back right into that turnbuckle and bam!
Corner to corner. And then a mid-ring power slam by Robbie Rage. Again, slow to follow up the advantage that he has, and I'm surprised again. He looked to the crowd that time for crowd reaction. Maybe he feels that confident.
Well, guys, looking at the crowd kind of being a braggadocious here, but you can feel your opponent. He's got him in trouble and could follow up with combinations. That's what I believe in, but another painful predicament right here, the Cobra.
There it is, that crossface submission hold is applied, and he's followed up that great move, that backbreaker that he had with the submission hold, and Alan Walker taps out.
Well, he's got a strong upper body. Look at those pictorial majors bounce up and down like that.
Impressive win for Robbie Rage. We're back with more Worldwide after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the Worldwide Arena, where we are counting down the hours to Halloween Havoc. It's Sunday. It's October the 29th. It's exclusively on pay-per-view, and, well, it looks like Bobby the Brain Heenan and Scott Hudson are definitely both in the spirit of the holidays, living legend.
Well, Bobby's dressed as the world's largest coat hanger, but it's tough to beat that mask Hudson's wearing. That is scary stuff.
Very scary. And as we see Big Kevin Northcutt, a 300-pounder from Louisiana, already in the ring and set for singles competition. His opponent, if you take a look at him, it looks like he's got a little jump start on Halloween as well with this outfit. It's the 70s guy, Mike Awesome. Whether you like the costume, the ring entrance, whether you like the ring attire, you cannot deny the wrestling ability of the 70s guy, Mr. Awesome.
Well, I think Mr. Awesome said this year he's going to go as Timothy Leary.
That's not bad.
You never know.
Dr. Timothy Leary.
Of course he was.
Of course he was. It looks like he's got a nice jump start on that with the 70s shades. And, of course, the always appropriate gold necklace. Of course, Halloween Havoc this Sunday exclusively on pay-per-view to be headlined by a world's title defense. Booker T is going to put the championship belt on the line against a man that many people have said is so deserving of a shot at this championship belt. And when you take into account his unpredictability, factor in his wrestling skills, his amateur background, it's a surprise to me that Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, has not been the world's heavyweight champion before he gets that shot at Havoc.
Well, it's surprising. I mean, it looks great on paper when you write everything you said down, but the fact of the matter is, Big Scott Steiner's only problem is his unemotional, uncontrolled. I mean, he's just a maniac. His temper loses his ability to incorporate his science. Oh, right there, the 70s guy almost got pinned. I was raised in the 70s. I never wore a gold chain.
You ever had a leisure suit?
I wouldn't be caught dead in a leisure suit. Well, Oh, Austin held on.
It just wouldn't make sense for a living legend to be caught dead in a leisure suit, would it?
Certainly not.
Look at this spring move by the big man, Awesome, from the ring apron into the ring. Caught him with the shoulder block, comes off the ropes, goes airborne, connects with the splash, hooks the leg, and gets a 2 count on Kevin Northcutt. And Northcutt has been very impressive in these worldwide matchups as of late.
Northcutt is gone.
Big youngster from New Orleans, Louisiana, just taken up and over the top, down to the arena floor by the Awesome clothesline. And there he goes, airborne again, up and over the top. That's not a cruiserweight. That's Mike Awesome. That's 6'5", 280 pounds in the air, and the suicide dive connected on Northcutt, who just took a shortcut.
Yeah, Northcutt taking shortcuts, but again, a guy like Awesome, you don't expect him to come flying at you over the top rope like that for a big man. Very agile, lousy taste in clothes, but you could probably buy all them bell bottoms real cheap now.
And speaking of lousy taste in clothes, how about Crowbar, who that 70s guy Mike Awesome has sort of taken under his wing in the past couple of weeks. Again, whether you agree with their philosophy, with their lifestyle or not, you can't deny the great wrestling of the tag team of Crowbar and Mike Awesome. Crowbar likes to do moves like that, where he doesn't even care about his own physical well-being. Neither does Awesome. They make a great team.
Well, Crowbar is insane. He would have fit perfect back in the late 60s and early 70s when the world went berserk and still didn't recover. But Awesome, man, did he crank Northcutt. And again, look at this big man. He's getting ready to fly.
Sensational agility for the heavyweight. Off the top. Hit the clothesline. Hooks the leg. Shoulders are down. Referee Charles Robinson in with the 2 count. But Northcutt able to still avoid the pin. That's several times that it's looked like Mike Awesome, the 70s guys, was on the verge of victory. And again, this time he rushed into the corner. Northcutt still has something left in the tank. Caught him with the super kick.
Hey, and Northcutt, big man. Looks like he's got some good balance with all that weight. Something, a little bit of experience might help this guy wind up with a career. Wait a minute.
Look at this.
Where's he going?
Northcutt mocking the crowd. That's a sudden stop on that baseball slide drop kick.
You've got to measure the distance between the floor and the rope. Northcutt doesn't have enough clearance. Clarence? Mike Clarence.
That may be the opening that Mike Awesome's looking for. To the top rope. Whoa, what a big splash. Frog splash off the top. Northcutt down. Wait a minute. He kicked out again, and the look on Mike Awesome's face tells the whole story. He's shocked.
He's confused right now, but again, Northcutt just powered himself out of 3 predicaments. Look, he's a big, strong guy, but he's looking a little wobbly, and wait a minute, he dumped Awesome!
Awesome known for the running power bomb, and it sure looked like that was the move he was going to try to employ. Cut off with the back body drop by Northcutt, but Northcutt goes to celebrate, and Awesome takes him off the top and drives him down to the mat. Got 2, and this time he beat him. Persistence pays for that 70s guy, Mike Awesome.
Well, persistence and perseverance and combination wrestling. A little haircut wouldn't hurt.
Another victory for the 70s guy, Mike Awesome, as we head into Halloween Havoc. This certainly deserves another look on our Castrol GTX replay. Larry Castrol GTX Motor Oil Drive Hard.
And for that, Mike Awesome drove that shoulder hard, and Mr. Northcutt picked up a man well over 300 pounds, and he jumped him hard, right straight to victory.
Great win for Mike Awesome. We're back with more Worldwide right after this.
That's going to wrap up this edition of WCW Worldwide, but don't forget Sunday night. Electronic Arts WCW Backstage Assault presents Halloween Havoc in Las Vegas. 2 huge matches on top of this one. Goldberg puts the streak on the line against Chronic, and Scott Steiner against Booker T. Will Scott Steiner become World Heavyweight Champion for the first time, or will Booker T finally get the monkey off his back and be respected as the World Champion? We know he is. We'll find out Sunday night in Las Vegas. We're getting ready to hit the red eye to fly out to the City of Lights. Brain, any last-minute Halloween thoughts?
Well, first of all, like I said before, I believe Scott Steiner is going to win this one. He's going to become champion of the world. And all you kids, when you get all your goodies in your bag, take it home before you eat it. Let your parents look at it. Have a safe Halloween. It's a fun time of year. You got to have fun.
Absolutely. We will see you in Las...
Hand me that candle. You should be lit.
Should be lit? Sure. Oh boy. This has tragedy written all over it. For Bobby the Brain Heenan. And he can do this. Oh, an idiot? Well, anyway, we'll talk about that later. For Bobby the Brain Heenan, I'm Scott Hudson. We're going to Vegas for Halloween Havoc. We hope to see you there and right here next week for more WCW Worldwide.
Yeah!
Go!
Yeah!
Bobby! Yeah! Let me get some water. High pressure hose. Sandblaster.